Have you ever typed a request into an AI tool, hit enter, and just immediately sighed at what came back? Yeah, we've all been there. You get a draft that sounds like, well, a robot wearing a suit. Utterly generic, shallow, and completely forgettable. It's incredibly frustrating. But here's the hard truth we need to unpack today. The tool isn't actually the problem. Your instructions are. So, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're breaking down a highly practical guide from Layer 3 Labs on prompt engineering for business. We are going to completely shift the way you interact with large language models, taking you from a frustrated typist to a highly effective director. And the best part, you don't need to know a single line of code to pull this off. Okay, let's look at the agenda for today. We've got 1, the AI skill gap, 2, the smart new hire, 3, context, task, and format, 4, vague versus engineered, 5, advanced prompting techniques, and 6, mistakes and team scaling. We've got a lot of ground to cover in this playbook, so let's just dive right in. Section 1, the AI skill gap. Right now, there's this massive divide opening up in the workplace. We all have access to these exact same tools on our desks. But the real competitive edge, that belongs to the people who know how to actually direct them. Let's start by demystifying this super intimidating term, prompt engineering. Honestly, the word engineering makes it sound like you need a computer science degree, but you really don't. Prompt engineering for business is purely a communication skill. It's just the practical ability to write clear instructions to get reliable, usable work out of an AI. You're simply learning how to describe a task clearly enough that a very literal assistant can knock it out of the park. And this perfectly illustrates that divide we were just talking about. Just look at the difference. A casual user basically treats the AI like Google. They type in a quick, one-line question, and they get a super generic answer back. But a skilled prompter, they treat the AI like a highly capable collaborator. They aren't looking for trivia, they're getting highly usable first drafts, deep analysis, and actual project plans. Think about the massive business advantage here. A skilled manager drafts a full project plan in 10 minutes, while the casual user spends an hour just staring at a blank page. Moving on to Section 2, the smart new hire. To actually bridge that skill gap, we need a total mental shift in how we approach these tools. This is the concept that makes everything click. Whenever you open up ChatGPT or Claude, I want you to treat the AI exactly like an intelligent, eager new hire on their very first day. They're incredibly smart, for sure, but they know absolutely nothing about your company, your customers, or the history of whatever project you're working on. You would never walk up to a talented new employee, give them a 2-word task, and expect perfection, right? No way. You have to brief them. The AI is exactly the same. Which brings us to Section 3, context, task, and format. This framework is exactly how you brief that eager new hire we just talked about. It's a simple 3-part structure. This CTF framework will cover almost every single business prompt you will ever write. First up is context. This is the background the AI needs to understand the situation. Second is task, the single, specific, plain language action you actually want completed. And third is format. What should the finished product look like? Are we talking a short email, a bulleted list, a confident tone? If you include all 3 of these things, the quality of your output is going to jump immediately. Now, let's zoom in on that first pillar, context. Good context is built on 3 key ingredients. First, what has been done? Give the AI the project history so it isn't just flying blind. Second, who is the audience? I mean, a message to a nervous new client should sound completely different from a quick email to a 10-year partner, right? And third, what persona should the AI adopt? If you miss any of these 3, your output is going to drift right back into that generic robotic territory we hate. I really want to highlight this specific point from the Layer 3 Labs guide. The persona line is literally the highest leverage 5 words you can use in a prompt. Just telling the AI, act as an experienced sales manager, or you are a careful contracts paralegal, sets a very specific role. That role instantly shapes the vocabulary, the tone, and the structure of the entire answer. It is absolutely the easiest secret sauce you can apply. All right, Section 4, vague vs. engineered. It's time for a bit of an aha moment, because seeing these 2 approaches side by side proves exactly why the CTF framework is such a game changer. On the left, you've got the vague prompt. The instruction is simply write a follow-up email. There's no context, no audience, no format. The result? A generic template that you are going to have to heavily rewrite. Now look at the engineered prompt. Act as a B2B sales rep. Boom, there's our persona. Write a friendly 90-word follow-up. There's our format. To a lead who downloaded our pricing guide. There's our context and audience. The result is a near-ready draft. A vague prompt might save you 15 seconds of typing, but it will cost you 15 minutes of rewriting. And that leads us to a really vital habit: follow-up prompting. Skilled prompters never ever accept the first draft as a final product. Treat the AI's first answer as raw material. It's a conversation. Tell the AI exactly what it got wrong. Say things like, loosen the tone in the second paragraph, or, hey, add a sentence about our refund policy. Whatever you do, don't start over from scratch. Guide the AI because it already holds all the context of your earlier messages.
Section 5. Advanced Prompting Techniques.
As your tasks get a little more complicated or maybe more logic-heavy, you might need to pull a few extra tools out of the toolbox. Here are the big three. Zero shot is what we do for the simple stuff, asking directly with no examples. Few shot is brilliant when you need a specific brand voice. You just give the AI a couple of past examples to teach it the tone before you actually ask for the new draft. And finally, chain of thought. This one is absolutely crucial for business analysts. This is when you explicitly ask the AI to think through this step by step. When you feed it raw data, asking it to show its reasoning lets you check its logic before you make any critical decisions based on that output.
And finally, Section 6. Mistakes and team scaling.
So how do we avoid the most common traps? And better yet, multiply this skill across the whole company? Well, here are the quiet time wasters that completely ruin AI output. We've already talked about being vague, skipping formats, and forgetting the audience. But the biggest hidden failure mode here: overloading one prompt. This happens when you ask the AI for a full marketing strategy, 5 email variations, and a budget breakdown all in one single breath. The AI is going to do every single part of that poorly. You have to break those large requests into steps. And of course, goes without saying, never trust facts blindly. Always verify before you use the data. Once you master this yourself, the very next step is scaling it. Teams build real advantage by sharing what works. If you nail a prompt that perfectly drafts a weekly report, don't keep it to yourself. Save it in a shared document. By building a shared prompt library, and maybe running a quick internal workshop on context, task, and format, one person's great result instantly becomes the entire team's default baseline. It's incredibly powerful. So here is what you should take away from this explainer today. You've got the CTF framework. You understand the smart new hire mindset. The AI isn't what's holding you back anymore. The real question is, now that you know exactly how to engineer your instructions, how will you brief your AI on your very next task? It's time to take your time back, ditch those vague requests, and really start directing. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. I honestly can't wait to see what you create.